My mother ruined me, Mia!
If someone had told me a year ago that I'd be sitting alone in a one-bedroom apartment trying to understand how my boyfriend ended up in bed with my mother, I would have laughed. Maybe even gotten offended. That kind of thing didn't happen in families like ours. We weren't perfect, but betrayal was something I watched in movies. Not something I expected to climb into my living room and sit down beside me. But the day everything fell apart started as ordinary as any other. It was a Tuesday. I just finished a long shift at the dental clinic where I worked the front desk. Insurance forms. Cancellations. A kid who threw up after seeing the needle. The usual. I remember walking into the apartment, setting my keys on the counter and calling out, "Evan, you here?" He wasn't. Which was weird because he always beat me home from his job at the tire shop. But his wallet was on the table. His boots were by the door. His jacket hung on the chair like always. Something felt wrong, like the kind of wrong you can't explain, only feel. I walked toward the bedroom and noticed his phone on the dresser, lit up with notifications. That alone wasn't strange. What was strange was that it kept buzzing, and buzzing, and buzzing. I looked. It was my mother's name. At first, panic raced through me. Maybe something had happened. Maybe she was hurt. Maybe she needed help. Picked up the phone. And the message at the top destroyed every normal part of me. "I miss the way you held me last night. I can still feel you." My heart dropped so fast I swear I felt it hit the floor. My mother. My boyfriend. Her words. His phone. My brain short-circuited. I read it again. And again. Each time hoping I was misunderstanding. Hoping I was misreading. Hoping I was hallucinating because of exhaustion. But when I scrolled up, there was nothing left to deny. Pictures. Plans. Memories they'd made without me. Conversations about when they'd talked to me. Messages about how complicated it was to hide things from me. I sank onto the edge of the bed because my legs gave out. It felt like every part of my body was screaming, but no sound came out of my mouth. When Evan walked in 15 minutes later with a bag of groceries, humming like nothing was wrong, all I could do was stare at him. He froze when he saw the phone in my hand. And that's when he knew. That's when everything changed. That's when the life I thought I had shattered into pieces small enough to choke on. He didn't even panic. That was the first sign that he wasn't sorry. He put the grocery bag down slowly, carefully, like that was the thing that needed gentleness. "You weren't supposed to see that," he said finally. Not "I'm sorry." Not "let me explain." Not "it's not what you think." Just irritation that his secret slipped. I felt my throat tighten. "How long?" He exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Don't start yelling. This isn't long. 4 months. The number hit me like someone had slapped me. 4 months. 4 months of family dinners. 4 months of him sitting across the table from my mother, acting like a son-in-law. 4 months of her hugging me goodbye while sneaking around with the man I loved. My voice cracked. "How could you do that to me? To us?" He looked annoyed, actually annoyed. "You and your mom fight all the time." I was trying to help her feel supported. Supported. That word made bile rise in my throat. I stood up so fast the chair scraped across the floor. Supported. "Evan, you were sleeping with her." He didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. He just dragged his hand across his beard and said, "Look, I didn't mean for it to happen, okay? It just did." My legs went weak. "You could have stopped." He shrugged. That shrug told me everything. He didn't want to stop. "Do you love her?" I whispered. He didn't answer quickly enough. And that hesitation, that single moment of silence, was the most painful thing I'd ever felt. He sat down at the table, elbows on his knees like he was tired of my emotions. "You don't understand," he said. "She listens to me. She respects me." Something inside me snapped. "She's my mother. She's not supposed to listen to you more than me." He shook his head slowly. "I don't know how to explain it. She just gets me in ways you don't." I felt the world tilt. So that makes it okay. I didn't say it was okay. But you kept doing it. Silence. He rubbed his hands together, not looking at me. Look. We were going to talk to you eventually. My heart cracked in my chest. You were going to leave me. Evan looked away. And in that moment, he didn't need to speak. I already knew the answer. He zipped up a bag, grabbed his boots and said, I'll figure things out. Just don't call me. For a while. Then, like it was nothing, he walked out the door. 3 years. Gone in footsteps. I collapsed to the floor, shaking so hard I didn't trust myself not to pass out. My sobs were so loud I'm surprised the neighbors didn't knock. It wasn't just him leaving. It was the realization that my mother, the woman who raised me, knew exactly what she was doing, and did it anyway. My phone rang an hour later. I stared at her name, my breath frozen in my chest. I let it ring. Then ring again. Then again. Finally I picked up. Her voice was calm. Calm. Honey, Evan told me you found out. I felt something inside me twist and break. Found out. That's how you say it. She sighed like I was making things difficult for her. I didn't want you to get hurt. I laughed, hysterically, painfully. You're sleeping with my boyfriend. He makes me feel appreciated, she said calmly. Something I haven't felt in years. My jaw tightened. So you used your daughter's boyfriend to feel young again? That's not fair. None of this is fair. She hesitated. We didn't plan it. And that makes it better. Silence stretched. Then she said, someday you'll understand. But I wouldn't. Couldn't. There was no universe where I could understand this. It didn't take long for people to talk. My aunt texted me. You okay? Heard something about Evan and your mom. My cousin wrote. Girl, I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. Apparently the whole town had suspicions. The long hugs. The inside jokes. The unexplained tension. Everyone saw it but me. The shame burned deeper than the heartbreak. I stopped eating. Stopped sleeping. Stopped answering calls. Everywhere I went felt too small, too loud, too judgmental. I didn't know who I was without him. And I didn't know what family meant anymore. Not AF. To this. A week later I found myself sitting on the bathroom floor at 2 a.m., knees pulled to my chest, crying so hard I could barely breathe. Not because I missed Evan, but because I missed the version of my mother I thought I had. The one who protected me, guided me, loved me. That woman wasn't real. The real one chose a man over her daughter. Man. I punched the floor and screamed into a towel to muffle the sound. My chest hurt like something was sitting on it. The pain wasn't just emotional. It was physical, sharp, heavy, constant. I wanted it to stop. I needed it to stop. But heartbreak doesn't listen. Just keeps breaking. 2 weeks later, I drove to my mother's house. I didn't plan to. I just ended up there. Hands shaking, heart racing. She opened the door, surprised. Sweetheart. Don't call me that, I said. She stepped aside awkwardly. Come in. I stood in the living room. The same living room where I grew up. But nothing felt familiar anymore. I didn't sit. I didn't take off my coat. I just stared at her. Did you ever think about what this would do to me? Yes. She swallowed. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. I'm lonely, she whispered. And Evan, he made me feel wanted. I stared at her, disgusted. So you chose him over me. She didn't deny it. That silence hurt more than any explanation could have. I walked right past her and out the door. It slammed behind me. A full stop to a relationship I never imagined I'd lose. 3 weeks later, Evan texted. Just one line. We didn't mean to fall in love. I stared at it for a long time. Then I blocked him. If they wanted each other, they could have each other. But they didn't get to keep me. Not anymore. Healing didn't happen quickly. I had nights where I sobbed into my pillow until morning. Days where the world felt heavy. Moments where I questioned my worth. But slowly, painfully, stubbornly, I began to stand again. Change jobs. moved apartments, went to therapy, rebuilt friendships I'd let fade. And the more distance I put between myself and both of them, the more I realized something important. Losing them didn't destroy me. It revealed me. I survived something I never thought I could survive. Months later, I saw them together at a gas station, holding hands, laughing, happy. It hurt, but not the way it used to. It hurt like touching an old scar, not an open wound. Evan looked at me and froze. My mother turned away. And for the first time in my life, I realized something powerful. Their betrayal was never about my worth. It was about their emptiness, their selfishness, their inability to love without destroying things. I walked past them quietly, keys in hand, heart steady. As I drove away, I whispered to myself, I deserved better. And now I know it. And for the first time since everything fell apart, I believed it. I truly believed it.